Side note, starting with Chapter 7, Learning to Speak Dragonese. Dragonese is punctuated by shrill shrieks and popping noises, and sounds most extraordinary when spoken by a human. The word pishu, for example, is pronounced very like a sneeze. More common dragon phrases: pishu na much much di meow meow. Please do not eat the cat. Hudi chuck it up un di jin jans di papa. Who has been sick in my father's pajamas? Pakadi botti forsakes di wooden or me do di gully boohoo. Sit, for warden's sake, before I burst into tears. To big dragons, me waterly guggins big time. I am very poisonous. Chapter 7. Practicing sword fighting and sniffing for treasure. In Hiccup's opinion, everything went wrong from the moment Alvin, the poor but honest farmer, was let out of the coffin. It wasn't Alvin's fault, of course. He was a very entertaining and enjoyable companion. He made the women blush by praising their muscles and their fat yellow flats. He made the men laugh with hilarious farty jokes and impressions of Mordagon, the meathead. He made the children adore him by telling stories of the trickeries and battles of long-dead heroes. Hiccup liked him too. Alvin came across Hiccup one day, practicing his sword fighting for the second depressing hour in a row. Hiccup was trying to Grimbeard's grapple, and failing miserably every time. Stoic had given him a new sword to replace Scarmaker, an impressively large and heavy one called Stretcher Point. Got a lot of length to do it, my boy, Stoic had said. It'll make up for the shortness in your arms. Give you a better reach. Hiccup had difficulty keeping it steady, and when he got to the lunge at the end, he tended to fall over. He had just got up and wearily picked up the stretcher point for another go when Alvin, the poor but honest farmer, suddenly appeared right behind him and said, "Hiccup, is it?" Hiccup was so startled he nearly fell over again. He hadn't realized he was being watched. "You're the heir to Stoic the Vast, aren't you?" smiled Alvin. Hiccup sighed. "Well, I hope so," he said. "That's the general idea anyway, but unless I can get better at this sword fighting, I'm never going to be anyone's heir. I'm hopeless at it." No, said Alvin reassuringly. "You've got a natural ability. I can see that. You just need a little coaching, that's all. Let me show you." Alvin carefully put his helmet to the side of the ferns for safekeeping. Hiccup watched, fascinated, as he untwisted the claw attached to his right arm, and in its place he fixed a sword holder mechanism. He then drew his sword and showed Hiccup how he could fit it into the mechanism. He twisted it tight so it wouldn't fall off. "A clever little contraption I've designed for myself," said Alvin. "I think I even fight better now than I did before the accident." He twirled his mustache and demonstrated the grapple himself. "You see," said Alvin, "weight should be kept on your left foot." Hiccup followed him carefully and fell over again. "Bravo!" clapped Alvin, to Hiccup's surprise. "But I fell over again," said Hiccup. "But with such style," said Alvin. "You can't teach that. It's in the blood." Alvin replaced the sword with his claw and picked up his helmet. He made a grimace as he put it back on his head. He then took it off again and peered inside. "There seems to be some sort of smelly mud. It's all over your hair, I'm afraid, sir," said Hiccup. Alvin looked horrified. He was very particular about his self-appearance. He hurried off to wash it off, toothless, who had been hunting rats